Hey, Steve Zook, welcome back to Poke Suit Channel. This is a FG 180. I've got it tuned low, and the title of this video is kind of like Mountain Guitar Fix, okay? Because I go up to the mountains every 3 or 4 months, rent the same cabin up in Idlewild, California, and it's just like church to me. It's my church, you know? I just really feel aligned with nature. It really makes me happy. I bring a couple guitars. Well, I brought a couple guitars this time. I go by myself, by the way. And I was trying to think, you know, I've got a lot of guitars, what to bring. And I just for a second I thought maybe I shouldn't bring something older, and then I thought, yeah, but this FG 180 from the 70s just sounds so good. I know it's tuned low right now, and I have a reason for that. But I decided to go with bringing this. I almost just brought this, and something said no, because I recently bought a Fender older Acoustasonic amp with 112 that just sounds unbelievably great. So I also brought a $150, $200 Ibanez acoustic electric with me, which I'm glad I did. Well, I got up to the mountains, and there was a fire. I almost didn't go because there was a fire in California out in the Riverside area. And the day before I left for the mountains, like the day before I left, there was like really bad fires. The 91 freeway was closed. There was fires right next to the freeway. I mean, I'm thinking, why am I going to drive into an inferno, you know? Then I started thinking fear or faith, but then I started thinking, you know, informed faith, right? So I dug around the internet as much as I could, and I did something that I thought made sense. I actually called businesses in that area and asked them how the freeway and how the surrounding area was. Tried to get a good feel for it. Well, the next day the freeway was open, and I think most of the major burn had burned off. I sailed right through, right into Beaumont Banning, went up the hill, the 243 to my favorite cabin. And it's just beautiful. It was like 72, 73 up there. Anyway, the story behind this video, which I think is kind of interesting, is when I pulled out this Yamaha to play it, it sounded like 2 or 3 braces were loose. It sounded terrible. It just sounded like it totally tweaked. And my sister is an oboe player. She brought an old instrument up to Idlewild up in the mountains one time, and it ended up getting a really, really bad crack. So I was just like, God, you know, because I really wanted to play this guitar up there. But I understood it was probably due to the drier weather up there, and then the fire being right down the hill from where I was, which wasn't that far down the hill. You know, the fires probably made the atmosphere even more dry in the mountains because it you know, kind of sucks moisture, those fires, you know, so I'm thinking it's even more dry. So what I did, as opposed to panicking, is I put the guitar back in the gig bag, and I put it I put it to bed. I put it on a bed, covered it with blankets and stuff so it would get no more air, and just let it sit there, you know. But then I started thinking about it. I thought, you know, what it really needs is moisture. So what I did is I took a shower. When I went to take a shower, I waited till after the shower, and there was still a little bit of steam in the bathroom, not a ton, just a little bit. And then I put the guitar, I set the guitar on a bunch of towels on the toilet so it would absorb a little bit of moisture, not a lot. I didn't leave it in there forever, just, you know, maybe a couple 2 or 3 minutes, and I just let it absorb some moisture. And before I did that, I detuned the guitar too, to take the stress out of the saddle and off the braces and just everything, you know. My theory here is kind of, you know, catch this quick and don't give the guitar any more trauma. That's why I let it sit by itself, kind of buried in a bed for probably at least 6-7 hours, just to kind of, my theory was kind of get it back to you know, however it's going to be for a while. But anyway, so I put the guitar in the bathroom for 3-4 minutes, took it out, let it just sit kind of in the regular, living room area for about a minute, and then I put it back into the gig bag and put it back to bed. You covered it with, a blanket and a light, bed cover. And then the next morning, I did the same thing again to it. Or maybe I did it again that night. I can't remember, to be honest, but I did a couple, another 1 or 2 treatments like that, real short, made them short, even shorter. And it's so fun. By about, I think, like the second or third day, I can't remember exactly, I got the guitar out of the gig bag and I strummed it. It was 99% better. It almost seemed like it was normal, but I didn't want to put the stress back on the guitar again, because I figured if something, it's really hard to tell what the problem was too. Whether it was a brace or just something in the saddle that had shifted. It could be many, many different things, but some of the strings, when I first checked it, sounded normal and some of them didn't, so made me think it wasn't anything too major. But anyway, after a couple of days, I checked the guitar and it sounded normal. I couldn't hear that same buzz or anything, and I was so stoked. And so I kept the tension off the guitar, and I just went ahead and I'm tuned real low. But anyway, so I after that, I kept the guitar. I probably did 2 or 3 of these little mini steam treatments, and not with a lot of steam, by the way. I think that would have been counterproductive. Just, I let the bathroom air out a little bit, so it wasn't like radical, but it had just a little bit of moisture, and you could see super, super small drops of like moisture water going out the window. But I tried to clear out, 50-60% of it. And then, like I said, kept the guitar in there a couple minutes. But then after doing 2 or 3 of these treatments, I put the guitar back in the gig bag, and really, I think I might have like let it sit in the room for a little bit with just the top of the gig bag open in case something had to dissipate, But anyway, the guitar seems to be fine now. I've still got it and don't have it tuned up to pitch. And I play this guitar a lot in DADGAD, but it's such a great sounding guitar. But most of these old 180s do need a little bit of attention, and somebody already had set this one up, but the setup doesn't have much wiggle room. So this is kind of the story of the mountain bathroom fix, And I think it's going to be okay. I don't think I'm going to have to pay anybody to do anything, and I feel a little lucky. And so now I came home. I have a couple other Yamaha 70 Nippon Gakkas. I did the same thing here by the ocean. Now here by the ocean, there's more moisture, so maybe it wasn't necessary. But I think one of my Nippon Gakkas came from Texas or somewhere somewhere far away. One of my other ones came local, but even if it came from local, it still could just need a little bit of moisture. And I think the key here is a little bit. I think I've never been one to do a lot of humidifying of guitars, partially because I live by the ocean, but also just because I've never really had any need to. But these older 70s Yamaha Nippon Gakkas, which are great guitars, I've got a couple 140s, one from Japan, one from Taiwan, and then I have this 180, I do believe is from Japan. And these guitars are a little temperamental, so you might want to consider that, But there's always ways that you can get around adjusting a made in Japan 70s without doing a neck reset. That's probably for another video. But I just thought I'd go ahead and share this mountain bathroom fix, because I brought this guitar with me because it just sounds so great. And my other ones sound great too, but this one really has a sound. And I was kind of bummed I couldn't play it, but I tried to remember, attitude is everything, right? So as opposed to being all bummed about not being able to play it, I thought, how can I maybe help the guitar get back to where it was? Because my thought on this was, the longer that I kept it where it was, that damage could be, or whatever changed or readjusted could become permanent, was kind of my train of thought here. So I thought, if I catch it quick and get some moisture into it, maybe I'll get lucky. Because I've heard of some people who've actually got cracks to seal up and things like that. Like, I know if you have a big crack, usually you have to have it repaired. But my theory was, catch it early, get some moisture back into the guitar, and let it get back to where it was, and it worked. So I'm really, really stoked. But like I said, I'm still keeping the tension low, and I even did a very small, like, minute, thing with this one. I let, like I said, 60% of the steam and the water out of the bathroom, and it's kept this one in there for like a minute and a half. But anyway, this saved my ass because I really wasn't looking forward to spending money, and the money can start being spent. It can really start to add up. You start having to do bridge work and saddle work and all kinds of stuff, you know. And this guitar already has pretty low frets. It looks like they've been, you know, evened out, and it plays pretty damn good, but it just sounds incredible. And you know, it looks like it's got an aluminum nut and aluminum saddle. It really has a sound. So anyway, that's my little mountain bathroom fix story. So if you live somewhere where there's not much moisture, you know, don't put your guitar in the bathroom for a long time. Don't put it in when it's super steamy. You know, let 50-60% of the steam go out, and then just put your guitar in there. You can even just stand there with it for a couple minutes and maybe do it in 2 or 3 doses. But I know that humidifying your guitar is a viable thing, and I know a lot of people do it. I'm not suggesting that the bathroom fix, the mountain bathroom fix, is the end all. But man, it sure worked for me. It took this guitar. I mean, I was really worried. The guitar sounded like it had a couple of loose braces, and it just, you know, some of the strings weren't just not playing and sounding, but the whole guitar was rattling. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting story to share. And yeah, these all, I've got 3 Nippon Gakkas, one from Japan, one from Taiwan, and this one from Japan. I'm thinking of buying one more, and that's it. But man, they really have a sound. I really dig them, man. That's why artists like, you know, Jeff Buckley and Elliott Smith used to play these. But I don't even know if I can sell this one. I just love it. I don't really keep much. I probably will put this back closer to concert pitch, even though I'll be in dadgad. But anyway, that's my mountain bathroom shower fix story. And make sure you're really careful. I put some things on both sides. When I put this on a pile of towels on the toilet, I put like a trash can on one side. I put things so if it did fall off, which it probably wouldn't because it was stable, just go the extra mile. Make sure you have something so if it falls off, it's not going to hit the floor. But just be really careful. Don't do it fast. Take your time. And like I said, get 50 or 60% of the moisture out of the bathroom. And then, you know, I think I even had the window just slightly open, 1.5 inches or so, even when I was doing this, so that not too much, you know, I was trying to let the guitar absorb what it needed without overwhelming it, if that makes any sense. So I guess I brought kind of a little bit of intuition to the table, but I'm really, really stoked it worked because I really love this guitar a lot. It's about right. I'm going to have to, I want to tune this up today, but I'm going to give it one more day to kind of readjust to the new climate here. And by the way, when I got home from the mountains, I kept this in the gig bag for, I think, a day before I eat. I think I might have slightly opened the top of the gig bag, just maybe like a 1/2 inch or 1 inch to let anything come out that might have needed to. But I tried to make the guitar have a smooth transition from the change it's been through. But next time I go to the mountains, I'm not bringing anything vintage. Never had this happen before with bringing anything to the mountains, but maybe because I haven't owned this guitar that long and it wasn't kind of didn't absorb the ocean, you know, moisture as much, and maybe too with all the fires, even though the fires were probably, you know, 40-50 miles away, maybe that sucked some of the air out even around here because there was a big cloud around here for a while. Not right here, but you could see it in the distance. But anyway, I just thought that might be a little interesting story for my YouTube channel. So. If you're going to go to the mountains, I would suggest you do not bring a vintage guitar, even something from the 70s. Bring something a little older, you know. Bring something a little newer, you know. But anyway, my Fender Acoustasonic amp, it's an older model. It just has reverb and chorus, but man, did it sound, I think it sounds better than the ones that have a million effects in it. But I was playing that with my Ibanez acoustic electric, and it just filled the whole cabin. It just sounded unbelievable. I'm writing a song as a tribute to a really, really great artist, and I'll be releasing that soon. All right, folks, take care. Keep the positive faith. Remember, the universe is unfolding in time, not unraveling, but when you're positive, you're in alignment with the perfection of the universe. Ciao.